everybody. It's Abby Glassenberg from Craft Industry Alliance. Hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday. We are here every Wednesday to do our member spotlight where we get to drop in on one of our amazing Craft Industry Alliance members, talk to them about their creative journey, how they started their business, maybe see a little bit of their studio or a few samples of their work. Today, we're going to actually be talking to a friend of mine, Janet Lutz. Janet is a very long time quilt shop owner in Syracuse, New York, where it gets very snowy. And her store is called Calico Gals. She is also a powerhouse quilt shop owner. She's not just a regular quilt shop owner. She is the person who founded the Row by Row experience, which some of you might have either participated in as a shop owner or just as a quilter, or maybe I'm heard about it, but it's a kind of shop hop that allows people to travel all over the US and also other countries as well and participate. Hey Janet, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you, Abby. Is it snowy your way too?
It is not snowy here yet, but it is cold and it's definitely coming. So, but you get a lot more snow than I do, and I'm in Boston, and where you are in New York, I just remember seeing photos of snow like all the way up to the top of the door.
That's what it looks like today, but that's okay.
Oh my
We're
goodness.
ready for it. We're ready.
You're ready. Exactly. Well, Janet, welcome. And I was just saying, you are like a powerhouse quilt shop owner. Whenever I'm like, I wonder what quilt shop owners think about X, Y, and Z, I'm like, let me just ask her, because you always have a great perspective. So tell us a little bit about your shop, where it's located, what you offer, kind of what your business is like right now.
Well, thanks, Abby. And thanks for inviting me. You know, I love to do this thing and I love your calls. Let me just say that right now, because you get me thinking about things too.
Okay.
As you mentioned, I own Calico Gals Quilt Shop in Syracuse, New York, right in the middle of New York State. Great location, have been in business since 2001. So yes, you said I was a long-time quilt shop owner, been around a little while. But what's interesting is I'm not at my store today. And when you invited me to do this, I thought, well, of course I should be at the store, but Wednesdays I work from home. And I decided that I was going to do it from home for the reason that this is kind of what success feels like to me. When you start a business, when anybody starts out, we're always asked, so what would success feel like? What are your goals? Where do you want to go with this? And
Right.
Quite often the answers are financial, right? We want to be able to afford this. We want to be able to have a car. We want to be able to have employees, different things that we might want. But also when you get a little bit more into your business, success changes, your goals change.
Yeah.
And you realize that maybe you want to make this business work more with your life than you giving everything to it. And that feels like success to me, that I can actually work from home a few days a week. Yes, my store is open. Yes, it is very busy on Wednesdays. I have an amazing staff that will take care of all of those things for me. And of course, I'm just a phone call away. But really, I'm only in my store 3 to 4 days a week. And I can work from home now too. So that's just an advantage of where we are now, that we can do that too. We can work, do a lot of the work, the planning, the prep for the activities and events that are going on, a lot of that, even sewing, you know, need to make things for the store. So we can do that from home too. I really like that part about it. We have a great location for Calico Gals. We are right where Route 90 and 81 cross. So these are two major highways across the entire USA and just about an hour and a half south of Canada. So we do get a lot of Canadians and a lot of buses in our store too. Beautiful store. Maybe someday we'll do a video and I'll show you that, but it won't be today. That will be fun too. I do have to give a lot of credit to that success to my fantastic team. Again, when you're starting out, you're doing it all alone or by yourself. Usually that's how most of us start. That's definitely how I started. I had a partner at the time and we just did it all. But eventually you want to add a person, usually, or two. I will say that for me, it was baby steps, a lot of baby steps going forward. Didn't all happen overnight, that's for sure. But those baby steps, and you know what else, Abby, I do want to say that sometimes it's steps forward and sometimes it's steps back too. but that doesn't mean that's not part of your journey, that you can just keep going that way.
Totally. And it's hard not to get discouraged sometimes when those steps back happen. So, but I like your idea of baby steps. I think it's amazing that you're able to work from home. I think a lot of people hearing this would say, yeah, that is my dream, to both have a store and also to not have to be at the store 7 days a week all day. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it actually improves, at least in my case, it improves my business to be able to do that, because you do get burnout being there 24/7.
And the other thing is, like, you learn a lot from employees who are better at certain things than you are. So they bring their talent and skill that you don't have.
Absolutely. That is so true. They always say hire people smarter than you are, right? Yeah. And that's my goal. And I think I've been pretty good at it. Yeah, I've got great people and just the different perspectives that they bring. Do Monday morning marketing meetings with a smaller team group where we just work on what events are coming up and how we're going to get the words out. And I just depend so much on them and their ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were talking to a quilt shop owner, brand new, maybe hasn't opened yet, or maybe just opened, kind of brand new to this whole thing, back in 2001. Yeah. And I should say, you've talked to a lot of quilt shop owners because you've run these national and international programs that involves, hundreds and hundreds of quilt shops. So it's not like you're just only speaking from your own experience, but and you're also very involved with other quilt shop owners as well. So what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's like, this is my new business?
So that is a fantastic question. I actually thought maybe I would talk a little bit about that. So we were on the same wavelength, Abby. A couple of things that I think have helped with my success has been the networking and to being open to collaborating with others. Now, obviously, Row by Row is a large collaborative event with quilt shops all over the US and Canada. Some years we actually pulled shops in from Europe that participated with us too. So that main word there is collaboration. But I also like to collaborate with smaller groups and network. And I think that's so powerful. When you get a chance, don't close off anyone that you consider a competitor. Don't close them off. Keep that open. Keep that open so that you can work together on projects or at least share ideas or even just have a support team. Now, I network with a couple of different groups, but one of my favorite ones, there's maybe 10 of us from shops all over the US. They're not all shops exactly like mine. Some are smaller, some are much larger. We have different goals, yet we really feed off each other. We're able to share ideas and there's a lot of trust there and support. Not all of us were able to go to Quilt Market this year, but I did go. So I came back and shared many of the things that I had found, and those who weren't able to go this year were able to get that info in the same way that I've gotten it from them before to events that I haven't gone with. So there's a lot. So keep yourself open would be one thing. Don't close yourself down and think, okay, I'm in this alone. There's others going through this too, and there's others that have already gone through this. So that would be one thing. I also like to do a lot of collaborating with our vendors. And with designers. That's a big one. I would love to talk about that a little more. I just talked about collaborating with competitors / colleagues, but designers, let me tell you, Abby, when I went to Quilt Market this fall, just about a month ago, I guess, I would go into every booth and here would be a beautiful booth selling patterns, maybe a new designer, first Quilt Market maybe, or maybe not. And I would ask the question, do you sell direct to the consumer? Now, years ago, that would have been the kiss of death for a designer because a quilt shop would say, oh, you sell direct, I don't want anything to do with you. And there are still many quilt shops that feel that way. I'm not one that feels that way because if you look at the big picture, their answer many times, almost every time was yes.
Sure.
But their answer was always, I would love to just sell through quilt shops. But there are people, I do my marketing, there are people who want my products and not everyone can carry it, so I need to be available. And then I came to realize it's very expensive to have a booth at market. I've done it several times with Row by Row, super expensive. Why would a designer go through all that time and expense if they didn't want to be in quilt shops? And sometimes the answer was, well, because they want to be picked up by a distributor. But think about that. Who do distributors sell to? The shops. They don't sell direct to the consumer either. So they really do value that relationship and spend a lot of good hours networking with designers and how can we work together. I'm doing an event tomorrow night at our store and demonstrating a really cute ornament. Actually, you can see it right behind me here, this star up here.
Yeah.
It's really a really cute 3D project. And the designer actually sent me step outs, photographs on how to demo it, talk to me about it. And she just really got me all set up to do this project tonight. Other than me just ordering patterns perhaps to sell, we created this relationship, and actually she was really in on the event. They want it as much as we do. Mm-hmm. They want our success as much as we do. So for me, that's such a valuable relationship that sometimes just gets overlooked by newbies because you're thinking, I just buy stuff and sell stuff. There's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, business is really built on relationships. And I think that's also a good piece of advice for designers, which is to say, think about ways that you can support your local shops, you know, and ways to work together with them and offer to collaborate with them. So I think that's great. That's good advice all the way around. So being open to collaboration. Can you talk about maybe a challenge or two that you have faced in the 20 plus years that you've been in business? Maybe something that was a hiccup or was a difficult moment, difficult time period, and kind of
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you want me to share all my failures too?
Just one. You don't have to go.
Let's talk specific to right now.
Yeah.
Coming out of pandemic, this is the challenge that everyone faces, not just quilt shop owners, but the retail world itself has totally been flipped on over top on end. So many quilt shops have closed, and I totally understand that because it is very challenging right now to figure out, how do I play this game? I thought I had it all figured out with all these years.
Yeah.
And now it's totally changed. And I actually went to market with that in my mind, thinking, how do I deal with this now? Because it has been challenging for me too. I'm not saying even just newbies, but people who have been around for a while, it's been super challenging. And what I found at Quilt Market were several ways that we can operate in what I'm calling the new world of retail. Right. Obviously, I'm not a big box store. I'm never going to be a big box store, but I can look at what they're doing and perhaps take that down smaller. And one thing, there was a lot of opportunities for affiliate marketing for quilt shops. Oh, all right. So this means I don't necessarily have to carry the inventory in my store. Yet I know that my customers are already purchasing from certain of my vendors. And instead of me having a big display in my store or a big pile of inventory, I can be sending them to purchase and receiving a piece of that back.
Right.
Now, yes, it's smaller than I would make if I was in my store, if the product was in my store. But the product isn't in my store. So I don't have that outlay of cash. With just working on marketing with them, and many times they had programs that would help with that. That was one way of doing it. Another gal came up with a way that quilt shops can actually sell PDF patterns from designers in our store. Now that was very new and different. So what she does is she actually prints up what looks like a pattern cover. It goes in a bag as if it would be hanging on my wall with my sample in my store. Because she's printing these on demand, my store information is printed right on the pattern. So I like that. And then of course the supplies needed to make this beautiful project are listed there. And then when you open it up, and so this requires a little interaction at the counter. Why not? This is a good thing. Open it up and there's a place to actually attach the different fabrics that you've purchased that will go for this project. But there's also a scratch off. So when you get home, and we have to talk to our customer about this, the pattern is not in there. Right. You are going to be actually going to the website, putting in the code and getting the pattern. Now this is wonderful on several levels because the patterns that she was showing were many pages applique designs. So that would be an expensive, yes, it would be an expensive pattern for me to sell in my store for her to produce, print, ship to me to sell. So
Right.
that whole piece was taken out of there with just a simple fold. So it was something brand new that I hadn't seen before. And I thought, okay, love this innovation. Let's try
totally.
this, something new to do with that. The name of that company is Quilt Blocks.
Okay.
So if people were looking for that, if shops were looking for that, that would be another thing that would happen. I also found vendors who were willing to drop ship. So again, I'm not necessarily holding all that inventory in my store, and that was a good thing too.
Yeah, so interesting. And I feel like you're really big and always have been a really big proponent of getting out and going to the trade shows. And we've talked about this in the past, and I think for some shop owners it's expensive, but for everybody it's expensive. It's difficult to get away and leave the shop, you know, for you, you're home today, but like not everybody can do that.
Right.
So it's difficult if you have very few employees to leave like that, but you've always really strongly felt that it's worth those sacrifices.
Absolutely. I don't call it a sacrifice, I call it an investment.
Yeah.
And not just to find new products to sell, because we have lots of opportunities to do that now. 20 plus years ago when I opened, it was go to the show to find new products. But we can do that now. There are other ways of doing that now. So it's not just about that. It is those networking pieces and looking at the industry. Can't see my hands when I do that. Like industry as a whole. Yes, big as a whole. Look at the whole thing as a whole. Meet people like you. That's exciting for me. Talk with people, you know, take that lunchtime to really spend some time to talk with people and see what their opinion is on this. Influencers, there's another thing that never would have thought that a small quilt shop could do that seems like a big box thing or something else. But no, take it onto your level. Somebody who you like, one of the designers maybe that you follow, they've got a big following, and now you've put together a kit or a project, and they can tell their crowd about that too. You can do this on your own level, no matter how small you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. I love that effort to get the bigger picture and to being open to new ideas. And as things change, a lot of this is about being nimble and open-minded and feeling like not feeling resentful or hostile to the changes, because change is part of this. Change is really a big part of being in business.
It is. And I think the word you were looking for maybe was threatened.
Yeah.
Because that's how we as retailers have to feel in these big changes. We're threatened. First, we were threatened just by online stores or online business. We had to come to embrace that. We couldn't just say, we're going to make that go away. We've been threatened by Amazon shutting down the mom and pops. You know, we feel threatened by all of these things. We need to change our perspective on that and think, okay, how can I use this? What can I do with this? How can this work for me? I don't have all the answers, but it's just something to think about.
Yeah, that's a really, really important perspective to get. Jan, every time I talk to you, I feel like inspired and I feel happy that like you're here in the industry and that I know you. So thank you for sharing some wisdom today on our Instagram member spotlight. And I hope we'll have another chance to talk more soon, because I really enjoy talking to you. I enjoy having you as a member. And thank you to everybody who came today. And if you are in Syracuse, New York, please go to Calico Gals and shop online as well.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to say one more quick thing before you shut me off. If you are a shop and you're wondering about row by row for next year, invitations will be going out very soon. We're very excited about next year. This year, 2023 was a super successful year for the participating shops. And we've made some great improvements to next year. We have to keep switching that up every year too. I think the shops are really going to like it. So be watching for that invitation.
That's great. And I love row by row. I think it's super creative. I love a creative challenge within boundaries where, you know, it's open-ended, but also within boundaries. I think it's great. And it's a great way to bring new people into the store and capitalize on the summer travel season. So I think it's awesome. So quilt shops, look for that announcement for sure coming up. So thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Janet, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye, Abby.
Bye. Take care.